In February and May 2024, LightHouse for the Blind and Visually Impaired in San Francisco hosted 2 forums discussing safety for blind and low-vision pedestrians in the city. From interactions between pedestrians and autonomous vehicles to urban design with accessibility in mind, these events highlighted challenges and opportunities around making San Francisco safer for the blind and low-vision community. Marissa Slaughter, Grants Specialist, LightHouse for the Blind and Visually Impaired, introduces a panel of speakers.
The Vision Zero initiative is aiming to reduce pedestrian fatalities and deaths in the city of San Francisco, especially pedestrians who are members of at-risk populations, specifically people experiencing homelessness, older adults, and people with disabilities. We're going to be talking about all kinds of aspects of pedestrian safety, especially around everything from universal design to technology innovations to community engagement and activism. How would you describe a truly inclusive pedestrian-friendly city?
Chris Downey, Principal Architect at Architecture for the Blind.
A really delightful pedestrian-oriented environment that has lots of a good density of shops and things to do in good close proximity, and smaller street sizes for a feeling that's more on the personal size rather than the vehicular size.
Warren Cushman, Community Organizer of Community Resources for Independent Living.
A city that would include accessibility features and really a place where people with disabilities as well as folks who do not have disabilities can all share the safe space.
Dr. William Riggs, Professor at the University of San Francisco School of Management.
It's really to prioritize human travel over automotive travel.
I really think about placemaking, and it's about making places that are memorable. In terms of sort of recognizing place, think less about what you put your hands on, because we don't necessarily want to go around the city feeling everything around us.
You know, we really want consistency, but we also want to make sure it's inclusive.
As an architect and as a designer, we like to think that consistency might be at the expense of creativity and creative expression, but it's something that I've truly come to appreciate in the blind experience, as really having a more predictable, greater sense of consistency in things.
As urban planners, designers, transportation engineers, you're faced with a challenge when designing facilities that really have to work for people of all abilities, and that when you're creating unique spaces, but that can still embrace and encourage the beautiful elements of urban surprise.
If you have a disability, you're not disabled unless your environment disables you.
We live in a city that talks with 2 voices. We want to actually, have a more safe environment for bicycles and pedestrians, and yet we have free-flowing traffic and wide roads. There's a way to be an advocate with people with overlapping interests without being an adversary of the bigger issue, which is roads are not designed for people.
I think autonomous vehicles is the real beginning, the real big place to start this conversation. The LightHouse has done a really good job of grappling with bringing blind folks to the table, connecting with the folks who are developing the autonomous vehicles. I think it has the potential to, potentially has the potential of totally changing people's lives in the blindness community. Right now, I pretty much depend on paratransit. The ability to just rustle up an autonomous vehicle and go where I need to go is very important to me.
Maddie Ruvolo, Transportation Planner, San Francisco Municipal Transit Authority.
People with disabilities are often outliers in movement and in travel. Are all people with disabilities going to be accounted for in how the technology perceives pedestrians and how it makes decisions about which pedestrians to stop for and how to move forward on the roads?
Fernando Macias, Access Technology Specialist, LightHouse for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
No AV is ever going to be in a rush, for example. It's not going to try to beat someone to the intersection.
I also hope that we will see regulation around safety and accessibility.
It's really important to design something from the ground up with the idea of making it accessible to as many people as possible. One really interesting thing I've noticed when it comes to blind people who use service animals is it can be very, very hard sometimes to get a ride-hailing service like Uber or Lyft to get you to go in to allow you to get in their car, right?
So our role is to essentially advocate for the policies that we think will best serve the people of San Francisco and will best deliver safety and accessibility for autonomous vehicles. And so that has taken the form of us submitting policy comments talking about the importance of safe pickup and drop-off for AVs, the importance of app accessibility and in-vehicle communication accessibility, and then also accessibility for pedestrians.
Automation really can become a part of this three-pronged strategy that does one key thing that is really important for Vision Zero is reduce car dependency. All the companies we see now need to actually maximize the number of people per vehicle, so they have a financial incentive to actually facilitate sharing. So I imagine we'll see, more per people per vehicle and a more transit-ish product that actually hopefully is integrated with our public transportation system.
If there are going to be autonomous vehicles, that there should be wheelchair accessible options. We should have accessibility from the beginning, and that goes for other types of disabilities as well.
I strongly believe that if you build the system with universal design thinking, it'll make things a lot better in the long run.
I think the disability community has unfortunately learned the lesson over and over again that when something new isn't born accessible, it's really challenging to catch up.
I'd love to see in 5 years a much more active, responsive, elected official network. And I'd also I would love to see a deeper bench of advocates of the blind.
People with all kinds of disabilities should be part of the birth of new technology and not just something that happens as sort of an afterthought afterwards.
When you run across something that doesn't work for you, you pick up the phone and make a phone call.
In terms of change and making change, if we don't speak up, then how's it known?
Thank you to the City of San Francisco Public Health Department and the San Francisco Public Health Foundation for their generous grant funding of these forums in this video. Logos appear for LightHouse for the Blind and Visually Impaired and Vision Zero. To learn more about LightHouse for the Blind and Visually Impaired, visit www.lighthouse-sf.org. To watch full versions of our 2024 forums on pedestrian safety, visit www.youtube.com/c/Lighthouse for the Blind and Visually Impaired.